Hi everyone. Hello and welcome to this construction domain session as part of the buildingSMART International Standards Summit, Valencia 2024. Thank you for joining. My name is Laura and I will be your moderator today. Today's session is titled Maximizing Construction Efficiency, Leveraging openBIM Technology for Optimal Planning and Progress Monitoring. The speakers for this session are on the screen. The session is scheduled to last 90 minutes, including time for questions at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay section of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to our speakers, I would like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. For online attendees, your microphone will remain muted for the duration of this session. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the chat box in the control panel. For the attendee here in the room, please keep the background noise to a minimum. And if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and use a microphone. I would like to bring to your attention that buildingSMART is committed to ensuring that participation in the development of standards is unrestricted and the process for adoption is transparent. And standards are developed to not favor any particular provider and are open, non-binding, and accessible to all. Please take note of our antitrust code of conduct. I would like now to hand over to Bangalore.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for this opportunity for me to present here on behalf of L&T Construction here in buildingSMART conference. And I would like to start by presenting to you by telling about our company L&T Construction. You can get to know about us through the link here www.lntecc.com. We are the largest construction company here in India, and we are ranked pretty high, in fact, worldwide. We tag ourselves as nation builders. So I would like to start by talking about two iconic projects. The first one is on the very newly inaugurated Ayodhya temple, and the second one is the Statue of Unity. Can I request Veljko to go to the slide which talks the video about Ayodhya?
Ayodhya, believed to be the birthplace of Lord Rama, and what reason to celebrate. The Janjic Mandir, designed and built by India's foremost technology, engineering, and construction conglomerate, Larsen & Toubro. One of the most important pilgrimage sites in the country will now have one more reason to celebrate. The Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir, designed and built by India's foremost technology, engineering, and construction conglomerate, Larsen & Toubro. Designed in the ancient Nagara style of architecture and built for a millennium, the temple is a confluence of history, tradition, high-tech engineering, and construction. For such a long-lasting structure, we instead engineered a special multi-layer foundation. First was a specially mixed 56-layer engineering film made of sand, aggregates, and cement. Each layer was subjected to 14 density tests against the pipe required to ensure good quality compaction. Above it rests the massive concrete trough, over which is a 21 feet high plate made of 23,000 plus granite stones of 5 feet by 2.5 feet by 3 feet, weighing over 3 tons, meticulously arranged in 7 layers. All the stones are interlocked for structural integrity to withstand seismic activities in Zone 4. The ground floor features 166 pillars, the first floor 142, and the second floor 82, including 6 Madonna marble pillars on each floor. Adorned with intricate carvings of over 10,000 lilies and trees, a testament to India's timeless heritage. The temple is a modern marvel that will guide the spiritual and cultural aspirations of future generations.
Bridges, we are doing projects such as Durgam Cheruvu Bridge was one of the most prestigious bridge project that we had done in the past. We have done lot of defense projects, defense installations. It's one of the biggest projects that we are still doing. Factories, there are a number of factories done. One of them is a hero factory. Minerals and metals, material handling has been one of the biggest businesses and projects that we have been doing. Various ferrous and non-ferrous plants we have done in the recent past. Hospitals, as we talk, we are working around 35 hospital projects across India. Apollo is one of our major client, and this is one of the Apollo Cancer Hospital OMR in Chennai. Housing sector is one of the biggest industry here in India, and this is one of the prestigious projects in Mumbai, the Minerva project in Mumbai. Hydel projects, Medigadda Barrage is one of the biggest hydel projects of India, and that was built by L&T Construction. When it comes to infrastructures, we are doing lot of projects, and this is one such solar project in Madhya Pradesh of India. Metros, we are doing many metro projects. As of today, we are roughly working on more than 300 kilometer of metro project across India. This project, Doha Metro, has been completed a couple of years back. Nuclear power projects, Kudakulam nuclear power project in southern part of India is one of the prestigious project that we have done. We completed 4 units and we are now working on the next 2 units. In office spaces, HCL Noida is one of the prestigious projects that we have done. In ports, of course, the Damra port, what you are seeing. Other than that, we have done the Cochin shipyard in Cochin and stuff like that. Power transmission and distribution, we are doing across the world, and we are, as we talk, we are right now working on around 90 substations for PT&D kind of projects. Few big projects which we call as landmarks that we are working on in the making. The Dubri-Fulberry Bridge, which is coming in the northeast part of India. The Mumbai Coastal Road project, which is one of the most prestigious project in Mumbai, which we are building. The first high-speed rail project of India. In fact, this is the biggest contract of India in construction industry. This is between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. We are working on a huge residential project by SIDCO. So these are some of the major landmark projects that we are doing. The next slide is on the BIM implementation report. This is like what we have been doing. This is a live dashboard that we have in our company, which talks about our status of BIM implementation. As we speak, we have about 555 live projects of L&T construction, out of which we have design and build scope for 215, rest are only build projects. Out of 215 design and build projects, we are on 3D for 202 projects. The rest few projects we are not doing 3D because they are few linear projects with not much elements to build. So otherwise, all projects typically are on 3D, and we have implemented 4D on 103 projects. From last 2 to 3 years, we have made it a mandatory to all the project to have field BIM, which includes 4D. Most of our projects are on common data environment. Some projects there is a compulsion not to have it on common data environment for various reasons. We also deploy virtual reality and augmented reality on our projects. The field BIM, which includes scan to BIM, 3D control and planning, and stuff like that. The BIM for safety and stuff like that. We have around 20 projects. Site logistics and construction analysis through digital medium of BIM is around 19 projects. And we have a BIM academy which is catering to learning for our own professionals. We have curated 39 courses which are typically process based or technology based, role based, and seminars and webinars. So typically we have 39 types, of which 9,466 candidates have been trained so far, and we have few mandatory courses for people to get eligible to move in their career and stuff like that. So this is like a dashboard of where we stand with respect to BIM in L&T. As a BIM process framework, we have deployed BIM based on ISO 19650. All our BIM process framework we have set up where we have, made the categories based on preparation, design, construction, and handover as proposed in ISO 19650. For each tab, we have come up with a numbering system and we have written a workflow. For example, 4010 talks about overall BIM implementation process, and 6030 talks about design review. The way we have done it is, I would like to go to the next slide where we have a video. This video is kind of self-explanatory. If we go to our company's BIM portal, which is called Pariman, and I go to the tab, it shows the workflow. And if I go to the guide, in fact, we have created video files. It is in the form of single sheet guide videos, where step by step it will tell people how to work. So there is a set way we want people to work. This, if you see, is showing the 4D workflow. We are showing how to create partition in 3D model, and how to add the required parameters in the 3D model, and then how to export that Revit file into Bexel. We are using Bexel as a 4D integration tool. We are telling how to import the same in Bexel. You can see each step we are defining, and these videos explain how to do the same. So all these are in the portal. Our company is so large and we are across many cities, and in fact internationally also we are working on projects. So everyone cannot reach out. So this was one of the method we came up with, where we create a portal. We add all the help files within the same. So this is like step by step how to do. We also have put sample files. We have found that giving sample files will be very useful. We also have templates and checklists in the same portal. This we have done across for all BIM implementation. Any new project, they can refer to this. We also have created our own component library, typically other than what is found in most of the design authoring tool. There are many components that we would have created, and this is quickly showing in our dashboard how I go to the component library and how we are keeping track. We have, I think, more than 3,000 to 4,000 components that are created, which we use repeatedly. Uh, in fact, it's an ongoing process. Each new project, when they create a component, if they feel that will be used by other projects, we go ahead and create a component. We also have a dashboard which tells how many components are there, who all are using, and when it was used, etc. All kind of data we get from this dashboard. Well, typically, I would like to very quickly tell how we implement BIM. We also, it's a typically known case that 3D modeling becomes the base, and we do the 3D modeling as per ISO 19650's workflow, where typically like if it is building kind of project where architect starts their work in their work in progress folder. Once they are done, it is shared with the structural team, and the structural team can go ahead and create their own models. Now, based on architectural and structural model that can be shared with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing (MEP), the MEP team can go ahead and create their model. Once all three are done, we federate them together in a federated model, do the required clash check, etc. Then generate drawings and issue the drawing to the site. So typically, the entire common data environment is also set up to satisfy this overall workflow, right from work in progress to share to publish, and ultimately till it goes to the archive stage. And when it comes to field BIM implementation on each project, we are identifying a field BIM coordinator or a field BIM manager, and we, based on the type of project, we implement majorly following what you are seeing on the screen. I hope you are seeing the same screen. Sorry if there is some lag. We are implementing following use cases, typically the 3D coordination and visual communication. All our project websites are having a BIM room where we have put a big screen where we can see the 3D model and discuss through the 3D model. Most of our complicated big projects have a BIM room where we have set up the headsets, and we use visual communication in the form of VR technology. We also use augmented reality. We have given iPads to the project site, especially when it comes to MEP works. We superimpose the MEP model, virtual model on the actual site, and make sure that all the elements are matching as per required, and then go ahead and fabricate. On most of our projects, as I showed you during the the first slide, we are doing the project time and quantity and cost integration in the form of 4D and 5D. The 3D models are in fact synchronized with our ERP system. So we can always have a dashboard which talks about, which I'll talk in a couple of minutes, where we have a dashboard which tells what was the designed quantity, what is the actual quantity, etc. BIM for safety is one of the major fields that we are working on. And for building kind of project, we have also implemented BIM for safety, which I'll show in a few minutes. And of course, site utilization and planning is one of the major fields that we are there. On the next slide, this is talking about how we have BIM lab and how our steering committee review also happens using the 3D model. Most of the time, the project progress happens through 3D model. The discussions all happens through 3D model, and we use common data environment to share the data across various locations. Visual communication, as you can see in one of the slide, you can see our CMD, Mr. SN Subramaniam, also, visiting the BIM labs and seeing the virtual models. We are been handholding and training people across sectors to show the model. We have Srushti Lab. This is one big screen in which we can see a 3D model. We on any mega project, the discussions happens on on this big screen. We interact with the model and we see the model details, and of course AR technology, as I told you. When it comes to the field, integrating BIM has become one of the most important, where we take the 3D model from design authoring tool, where it has a model data management, component library, clash detection, etc. Then the 4D, we take the project time details from either from Microsoft Project or Primavera, and we also have the ERP, that is what we call here internally EIP, where we have the cost details. We have integrated all of that with our integration platform. So they are all synchronized each other. The 3D, the 4D, and the 5D are synchronized on one single platform. That platform that we are using is Bexel Manager. On the next slide, what are the major benefits? In fact, this integrated platform, one by one, we are connecting to all our various tools that we use. Right now, we have already have the mobile application, the model dashboard, the project schedule, the EIP or the ERP system, the 3D model, object library, etc. We are also planning to connect to some other tools that the site uses. The benefits are effective communication and team building. Cost and time estimation becomes easier. Eliminating on-site redesigning and rework. Cost reduction with material quantities. And building handover and operation and management becomes very easy. These are some of the dashboards that we are having with respect to project planning 4D. We are having a look ahead. Most of the project we are looking for the next 3 months and what is completed. We have planned versus actual, where we are saying what is planned, what is actually executed. And we have also integrated that with quantity and cost, because our 3D model and the 4D is also connected with EIP. With respect to time, we can see what was the cost planned and where do we stand today. We also have delay analysis, where we can see what are the elements that has got delayed and what is its effect on the not yet begun work. And we also can see the critical path and etc. As a 5D report, this is what I told. We have connected with EIP. The 3D model uh, can be displayed in the center with the design data on the right side, where we have the quantity and cost detail. And on the bottom, we have the EIP data, which is planned quantity, amount, and rate against what is actually happening inside, and balance. So when I choose any element, it will show its planned versus design versus actual. And I can go up to the BOQ code item in our ERP system. This is a very prestigious thing for us with respect to BIM for safety is concerned. Initially, it was in 2D, where we created components, and we are trying to make it an automatized modeling. I request you to, I hope this same video is running. We have created components and we have written scripts in such a way that I go to the design authoring tool. I pick the type of safety component I need to put, like safety catch net and supporting arrangement. I run the script and I click on any location. It goes ahead and puts the required components. So the BIM team closely works with the safety team, and all this safety data gets automatically implemented. This is a floor edge safety screen. The safety platform for workers to work. Everything is automatized. We have created the component and we just pick it and put it, models it. And then we also extract BOQ out of it. This is for lift shaft safety net. In fact, if I pick on one opening, it goes across floors. As required, it will go and put. I don't need to go to each floor. It goes across the floors and puts the safety net for lift shaft. And again, lift shaft gates are also available. We have a similar way of working for formwork and scaffolding, where we have created components, we pick them and drop, it goes ahead and automatically puts. This is a floor opening barrier and mesh for the same. So typically I'm showing for one type of hazard, that is the fall from height and falling materials hazard. So these are some of the safety protections we take care with respect to one particular hazard. In fact, going forward, we will also connect these with the timeline, where in our project schedule, the timelines of when these safety things to be put also will be brought. Right now, what we are doing, all these are being tracked through the common data environment, and even the safety list is enabled through common data environment. This is the quantity takeoff also is enabled in the same. The next one, I don't need to spend much time. We are having site logistics and construction rehearsal doing. Typically, I think you all know that India is populated and most of our projects are happening in Indian cities where it is lot congested. And hence, at the beginning of the project, we will have to show to various government agencies how we will work within the compact area, how it will be safe, etc. So even during the tender stage, we have to do lot of site logistics and convince them. So we are doing these kind of site utilization planning through digital medium with simulations, which shows where would I be entering, where is my office, where is my working area, and stuff like that. And based on which we get approvals many of time and make us technically, capable to do the projects. As a part of techno-commercial requirement, especially technical requirement, this kind of logistic planning has become a compulsion at the very beginning tender stage of the projects. 3D control and planning, as you know, many equipments are now taking input in the form of 3D model and giving output in the form of model. We are using many such, and this is one such example where we are using Trimble's SX12 on one of our prestigious project in New Delhi, where floor flatness and column and beam flatness are matching with site is required. So as and when we are pouring concrete, we are running the lidar scan and superimposing it on the 3D model to ensure that the what has been planned and designed is being constructed. This is one of the biggest requirement of the project. And also we are using this same equipment for MEP anchors marking at the project site. So Trimble SX12 we are using on various projects. One project is Center Secretariat. The major field agendas that we are using is as-built scan, floor flatness, layout hanger points for HVAC and fire layout, and real-time floor flatness check. BIM to GIS integration almost on all our linear projects. We are intending to go on BIM to GIS integration. Uh, some projects we are doing only to at the design stage, where we are bringing the model on infraworks and checking the integration. But on field basis, quite lot of projects, existing utilities especially, we are scanning and we are using this BIM to GIS integration. This particular project, what you are seeing is from a Technology Center 4 project here in Chennai. There's a L&T facility. Couple of quick projects I would like to tell which we are doing now. This Mumbai Ahmedabad High Speed Rail Package 4 is one of the biggest projects happening in India, where we have implemented CDE, the 3D modeling, the 4D simulation, and 5D modeling. We also have done the change management through BIM. Virtual reality has been used extensively here, and BIM to GIS integration has been done on this project. We have various integration map planned how things should work. I hope you can see the same screen. Different now n number of applications had to be used to achieve the ultimate goal, and we had to plan the entire process. So you can see what all tools we used at the preliminary design stage, the detailed design stage, at the design review stage, and also during the output stage. Some of the major things that we have done is the viaducts, which is of about 237 kilometer. We have done three major casting yards for precast slabs and stuff like that, which is also having equipment such as launching girder, transporter, straddle carrier, and bridge gantry. We have done four station buildings. We have done a tunnel of about 350-meter length, and the dia of this tunnel is around 13.4 meters. We also have noise barrier yards, which is being developed in the model. You can see in the next slide how the 4D has been integrated, and we are also having various timelines. If you see the actual site execution versus model, you can see that how it has been tracked. We have used Bexel Manager as a 4D and 5D integration tool here. The input came from Primavera P6 for timeline, and of course, when it comes to EIP, I'll talk like where 5D, it was through EIP. The quantification we used to take based on the elements and also time. We used to take it from our integrated platform Bexel. All the procurement, everything with respect to billing, everything happened through this platform of BIM. We did the plant versus actual report through BIM integrated platform. I'm hoping you guys are able to see this particular page where we had the cost, benefits, and ROI. Uh, Total savings, what we found was very encouraging, where we moved more than, in Indian rupees, we got a benefit of in crores. In fact, per month only, sometimes we found in the range of 25 to 26 lakhs. It depended on which particular work we did. But overall project, per month we saw around 25 lakh saving. The second project I want to talk about is AMNS steel melting plant, just to show the way or the complication of the 3D model. Here we are using Aviva as a 3D model for MEP and Tekla for structural steel model. With respect to the next project, Sitco, this video is self-explanatory. Please have a look at this one. These are some of the major projects that we are working where we have integrated all the BIM possible implement like 3D, 4D, 5D, etc. The Kanchipuram data center is one of them. TC4, which is in our LNT, is one of them. The Dharwad project, this is a water treatment plant. As we speak, we are working around 70 water and sewage treatment projects. Uh, right now, we are implementing BIM, including the field BIM on 18 projects, new 18 projects. This is a Taisai commercial tower project. I would like to show probably this is a station building of high-speed rail project. Very quick about BIM Academy. This will be one of my last slide. We have a BIM Academy, as I told you, and we have trained as on as on 29th of February is 9,466 people. Majorly, we have four, seminars. These are some of the seminars that we did in the recent past. We have technology. These are the courses that we are doing on technology, which is based on the tools that we use across various projects. The role based, we are having role based. We have done field BIM coordinator program. We are also having design BIM coordinator programs and modular based programs. From May, we are also starting BIM manager certified programs. These are role based. For you to get eligible to become a BIM manager, etc., you have to complete these courses. We also have process based, like what we discussed earlier. We have a portal Pariman where we are having our BIM Academy details where we fix calendars well in advance. Most of our courses are designed and done planned 2 months in advance, and we get people of L&T professionals getting trained across countries. Many of them are physical here in our classroom, some are online. We have faculty who train people from various parts of the world. This could be both, online or offline. We have international faculties at various stages, 23 people, 48 nationals, and we internal people are around 18. We track attendance, we take feedbacks, we find out from which project they are, which ICs they are, and which are the courses they have done. You click on any person's PS number, you get all his training details. Similarly, I go to any training, I can get to know all people who have got trained. All the trainings that happen in our classroom gets recorded for the students' facility. They can go back and see the recordings. These are all stored in our portal. They can go click and see the same. We have MCQ system which are all online, and it gets shuffled and comes. So for many courses, you get certified based on at least 50% marks that you take. And as I told, we take feedback for every work that we do. We have feedback for all the courses that we have done in BIM Academy. And even today, as I talk here, I hope to get a positive feedback. Any feedback is good. It would have been more and more encouraging if I were there, but unfortunately, I could not be. And technology wise, frankly, from here, I don't know if my voice is clear and the slide and myself are syncing. But I have tried my level best, and I know I took about 5-10 minutes more than allotted to me. I thank everyone, and I will hand it over back to Veljko and Laura. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so I will talk today about how openBIM technologies can be integrated in open planning, optimal planning and progress monitoring. I'm president of Bexel. For ones who does not know me, I'm a steering committee member of a construction domain within buildingSMART International. Also, I'm a president of buildingSMART Serbia and BIM Serbia Association, and within Europe in a consultants association, EFCA, I'm vice chairman for BIM and digitalization. I will start with what we had yesterday panel. It was not agreed. Mark mentioned, okay, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to when we create them. And yeah, essentially, there is a huge potential. We heard yesterday and today, for example, from Ricardo, from Ferrovial, how how they are focused on return on investment and what they can get. He mentioned 10 times. We know that manual planning is very challenging, and I will focus in this presentation how automatically we can create optimal balanced plans, achievable plans, and on the other side, how to successfully monitor execution. This is another part of equation or challenge, and to successfully meet expected milestones. So just a small introduction. So Bexel is at the moment, our technologies are used on globally in, let's say, more than 80 countries. And the total value, of course, we don't know all the projects, but it's definitely more than 500 billion US dollars is the total value of the projects. You can see some of the iconic. This is literally more than 10 years ago, one of the largest hospitals in the world. This is from Qatar, previous World Cup, one of football stadiums. This is the awarded, we got the award as the best technology project by buildingSMART International for this project. It was a couple of years ago. This is literally a new railway station in Belgrade. And but I will now just move to the specific case study where I will show you how from original BIM model, or you can see all this logo, so all these openBIM cool things we have today is used for this and that. So it's a residential project, not so large, but nevertheless, you will see the ways how it was analyzed from the early design stage and early planning stage and how the optimal plans were developed and the analysis. So this one thing is, as for example, Mukund shown, so it's very important to integrate. In this case, Google Earth model was integrated, so you can see now on the CD how simulation of the building looks like, and of course with the different different color coding schemas and classifications helps a lot. So in this case, you see from a color schema where actually different colors mean different month of a real actual execution. So you can visually see, but of course there you can see the subcontractor, building level, any property, any data. But this is the end results we would like to achieve. But how we start? So usually the planner defines the basic milestones. It could be in project, in Primavera, could be in Excel. Just these are notes. But sometimes, I have to say, unfortunately, this is also the end of the planning process. And there are a lot of issues with the plans developed on this level. I don't want to mention, but we're working on Bexel is using thousands of projects, and this sometimes is the end. But what are the challenges with this plan? So it looks very nice, it's realistic potentially, and so on. But when we transfer this to flow lines, we see a big chaos. So if I move back, now everything seems okay, and that's why planners do not show you this. Just kidding. but because then you can realize a lot of space-time conflict. It's not coordinated, it's not very well planned, it's not accurate, it's not location-based, and if you run in Excel, there are a number of automatic dashboards. One of them is just, it's called DCMA check. Essentially, this comes from American best practices of planning. So the system automatically checks the quality of your construction schedule. And you see, a lot of total float is huge, a lot of activities, does not have successors. And if you just go to the live interactive demo, whenever you isolate the long tasks, so according to DCMA, every task which is more than 4 weeks should be cut into more tasks, or you cannot have star-start relationship, you cannot have a huge float, negative float is forbidden, and so on. And so in this interactive way, you can see the tasks which does not have successors. So in this case, almost entire facade and all other things are without successor. This means that the schedule is not very good. And I will not elaborate this because I know that there are not only planners here, but the idea is to check every project before it commences. Some big clients, actually currently the largest project where we are involved in Georgia state, 5 billion US dollars is the value. The client required this, did not allow contractor to start execution of the project until this is fully verified. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the dashboards of that original project, but that was requirement. And the idea is to achieve the end result, which looks like here what is presented. So just to have some float, it is reserved for us and buffer, but the rest you can see more or less is green. So it means that all the required checklists are performed well, and the results are okay. So how to achieve this? As in the last presentation you saw from Mukund, you need to slice and cut the elements according to how they are going to be executed. So there are some automated ways how you can do it. In this example, it was done just in Revit, but there are a number of ways how you can do this automatically. And then you see how the project is organized in a vertical and horizontal way. And in a infrastructure project is the same, but you choose a chainage instead of building level. But more, you will see some examples later. And now you can visually, of course, this is important in order to control. Bexel has also functionality to automatically distribute the elements across different levels, because if you know, architects do not do always this very well. And now you can verify if the zoning is done properly. So now these are different types, as I mentioned. So this is a standard small project where methodology and zones are combined in Bexel Intelligent Scheduling. I will not elaborate this. It was mentioned a number of my previous presentations, so you can see a lot of videos available on our tools, how this is generated, but actually it combines zones and scheduling methodology and logic and creates thousands of tasks automatically. So in this case, we have example of 22 buildings, and this is the football stadium simulation you saw. So with just on a 6th level, we had around 150 nodes, and the system created around more than 50,000 tasks and relationships. And the same, as I mentioned, is with the infrastructure project. In this case, you see a big tunnel and bridge, and instead of building level chainage was used. So this is how location, you just define the scheduling logic and zones, and the huge benefit is that Bexel then automatically create much more tasks. In this case, we have 2,500 tasks and almost 5,000 relationships. So just to simplify, from a single task, it creates automatically relationships for each zone and each subzone, and keep this as a way how schedule is automatically generated. And the huge benefit of any automation, in this case planning, is what if scenarios. So if you change this from one place, it will automatically recreate the schedule and all accompanying analysis. So we have, of course, bidirectional link with the tools like Primavera or Project, so you can still use this in a traditional way and export information or updates from Primavera and back to Bexel. And this is the plan, which looks slightly better. So you can see now first is the core, and then you see the rest of the structure, and then the remaining utilities and architectural finishes and facade works are in parallel. Of course, you will see later that it has to be fine-tuned. I don't know now, maybe you cannot see on this slide, there are some even dashed lines, which means that the different activities are executing at the same time at the same location, and it's not allowed. And Bexel can automatically detect those issues and make suggestions how this to be sorted out. So now just what if scenarios. In the first scenario, we said we will start from one corner and then finish each phase move to another zone and so on. But if I now just remove one single relationship, here I can say have two parallel activities. So try to start from two different corners of the building, and of course make the entire execution much faster. What you can see a difference, now this is original linear sequencing and second one is parallel. So you can see that on two locations, different locations, same teams are working in order to make entire construction faster. What is result with automatic calculation, Bexel is through 5D and 4D integrated platform, so you immediately see resources. So now we see that with the original plan, we need on average 80 workers in order to build structural works. If I switch now to the parallel, it will be much faster, but it's more than 150. So you see immediately do what if scenarios. To do all this manually, of course, takes a huge amount of time. And now, of course, you can immediately see a visualization. So now, in the first, it's a linear sequencing, and in the second one, you will see a parallel one. So you can sit down with your planners and create three scenarios. One, linear, then parallel, and then triple this. And of course, it is not so interesting in a single building, but we have a large area like Expo 2027 will happen in Belgrade. We are managers over there, and then a lot of what if scenarios were done before project commenced. So the idea is also to visually, all tasks can be according to any color schema visualized. In this case, we see a main zones, but if I switch now to this, I can see the zone, sub-zones, and of course, always have a control with the different colors, different tasks are represented. And again, I can see a simulation from a different perspectives. In this case, you will see a simulation from section view. Sometimes this is useful for factories and so on. So you can see all this on our CD. So you can verify if this is okay. You can see a plan, the actual, original. So you can have multi-schedules on the cloud. And now when we are talking about the optimization, as I mentioned, we need to identify the activities which are executing at the same time at the same location. And this is the end results where we don't have them. And the system automatically generate a status, how challenging the execution of certain tasks is. So we have no spatial conflict, minor, and red ones are major. Of course, this is fully customizable, so you can have 5, 10 severity levels if you want. And another interesting thing is, if I move back to this, it looks ideal. And but the challenge is that it's, although building looks similar, it's not the same amount of activity on each zone in each location. So when we move to the resources and the quantities of concrete works, we see it's not balanced. Usually planners do not analyze this. They leave all these issues to field engineers. And that's the problem, and that's where huge waste and inefficiency is happening on site. But luckily, with the leveling resources, because the quantities are fully integrated with the BIM and generated from the BIM model elements automatically associated to the task, we can balance this. And then the results, so you see original plan, straight lines, is not the optimal one. The one below is actually balanced. And this is, so whenever you analyze schedule, you should ask planners, oh, can you show me this? Otherwise, you should say, oh, you could be incredibly lucky that you created something optimal, or unfortunately, we will have a lot of issues in the execution of the project. Then I will not elaborate now too much, but you can collect progress in two ways. Send the look ahead plans to the site, just adjust each field engineer what was really executed, and collect the data. And now, for example, I know Ferrovial, they have a system which automatically now with AI collects the data, and we are looking forward to explore the opportunity to integrate this. That's through future. But I will show you a traditional approach if you don't have this AI. So the system automatically creates look-ahead plans, and it's not necessarily one. You can have 10 look-ahead plans for each field engineer or subcontractor and so on. You can define the period, is it daily, weekly, monthly? You send this to the site, and then on the let's say with the tablet, field engineer can see not just the elements, but all the quantities of necessary reinforcement, which has to be executed that week. Then you just deselect the elements which are not finished according to plan. So not manually do the opposite, but just what was not. So just several walls which are not built according to plan, send back into central system this information, and system automatically generates updated schedule with fully entered progress. The second approach is more traditional one. It's a percentage wise. So you just enter 50% of certain task is finished and so on. It's not so accurate, but on the other side, we use this if the spaces are, if the elements are not modeled. For example, for low voltage cables or for certain spaces and so on, then you have only the option to use a percentage-wise progress tracking, or for utilities which have a lot of small elements and so on. But the beauty is that you can have interactive dashboard. So now you see on the left-hand side, this is a plan. On the right-hand side, what's actual. And when you define a certain time period, the system can automatically, with the color codes, show you what was planned and not executed as it was planned. You can see also in parallel to simulations, you can see earned value analysis, you can see quantities of materials, and below, of course, now it's too small, you can see the quantities, the costs of each subcontractor in the project execution. And now one very important thing is look ahead plans. So the idea is to have this interactive dashboards. And in this case, with a different color, I can see a different activity in a different zone. And below are exact quantities, in this case according to uniform, but could be any other. The other colors here are subcontractors, zones, types of activities, and so on. So if I want now to see really, I can in an interactive way isolate each week or each type of activity or each, let's say, just facade works according to uniform, or just the activities of certain subcontractor, or just activities in one building, and immediately see what the guys on site have to do in that particular area. So it's a fully interactive. You can change the color schemas. You can, as you can see now, just easily isolate the zone. You visually see where those activities are and have a fully professionally prepared system for execution of the project. What is also very important, this is something which theoretically exists in Primavera, but never is used, that literally efficiency of each task can be analyzed automatically. And in this case, with different colors, we can see if the duration was as it was planned, or it was twice longer or shorter, and so on. So this truly helps project managers to know which subcontractor, which field engineers perform well, which does not. Maybe we need additional subcontractor in order to meet milestones, but you really have a full control. Usually 99% of project control managers does not know. Maybe expecting the end of the project, they know, but this level of detail does not know. And this tremendously helps. Even the field engineers are more motivated because they know now if they perform well, someone will notice this. If they know nobody will notice this, they are not motivated to perform works well. Then it's a task status again with the, let's say, red color. It should already be finished, not started yet. Orange, it's already started, but will be finished later than it was planned. Green one, it's already finished. So you always know what is your task status. And there are a number of things how by knowing this, you know the risks on the project. Because on some projects, you have situation where cost-wise, it's okay. By 90% of the tasks are 90% finished. That's a terrible situation. And you will have a huge challenges and additional costs and everything else. Here, you can identify if you're performing well, when you need to finish task first and go to the next task, or you do 90% of the painting in each room. That's really something which should be avoided at all costs. So now I will skip this. The next thing is the total float. You can see where you have reserves and immediately know how you're performing. So if the float is 10 days, you know that even if you're 10 days late, you will still not be on the critical path for that task. But you can also, with the red color, see the tasks which are actually on the critical path. So all this can be seen and analyzed in a same way like all other analysis. And below, of course, always are the costs. You can, of course, expand them and see all the costs related and cost items and quantities related to selected tasks. The next is delay analysis, again, where you have certain delays. So I will skip the video because we are already behind with schedule. But now I will show you some delay recovery analysis where Bexel, I will not elaborate this, but can automatically recalculate the remaining tasks in order to meet the milestones. And below is the AI. So you can ask the questions and say, can you show me the weeks with the most critical tasks? Or can you show me the weeks where our efficiency was the lowest or highest? Or can you show me the tasks where efficiency was the lowest but are in the second building and performed by, I don't know, subcontractor for facade? So you can ask all these questions and system automatically creates below in a human, of course, readable way, create different charts by bar charts because Bexel has 21 different domains fully integrated in a single source of truth. So now just I will finish with some of the benefits of this. So insightful what-if analysis, so 10 times faster what-if scenarios. Then a faster development of feasibility studies. So this is example for Expo 2027, which one of the largest project in our region, where all dashboards, all simulations of different areas is in a conceptual design stage performed before the best option is chosen. 20 times faster development, 95 faster QA and QC, so ideas, check, space analysis, and so on. Data reach, quantity takeoffs, preparation of tendering packages. So a lot of contractors use this in order to submit comprehensive bids and have a bigger chances to win this. In total, 15 to 20% is acceleration in the project timeline. And at the end, with RED-FIDI contracts, significantly lower risk allowance, so between 8 to 12% lower construction costs. Total project control and minimize risks in order to ensure compliance and conflicts between different subcontractors. So thank you very much. Now I'll give the floor to Ferrovial, and they will talk about the best ways how to do data checks before construction commences. Please. Thank you.
Okay, hello all. Thank you for the construction domain and especially for you, Veljko, for inviting us to this session. We want to talk about the progress monitoring and data management. We are working in the digital construction and data management department in Ferrovial Construction. Our task is to support all of the project in Ferrovial Construction in the implementation of BIM, digitalization, new technologies. We create and update the digital strategy of the company, and we are in charge of the certification in the ISO 19650. I'm Isabel Gutiérrez. I'm responsible of the digital construction area. I have been working for Ferrovial for almost 7 years and a half. Before I was working in another construction site as production manager and site manager, and I'm part of the infrastructure domain here in the buildingSMART International. I'm Victoria.
I'm Victoria. I'm part of the Isabel's team as a digital construction support. I have been working in Ferrovial Construction for 9 years, 8 of those in the UK, in London. I was part of the Heathrow team for Ferrovial Construction, working in the BIM implementation and ISO 9650 certification and bringing technologies to the site. And now I'm part of the head office team, supporting all the projects in the BIM implementation, bringing different technologies, and especially offering the training for our teams to make sure they have the digital capabilities to implement what we are doing in terms of digital strategy.
We have divided the presentation in 3 parts. Well, the first one is the brief introduction about Ferrovial and what we are doing. The other part is about the progress monitoring and data management, and we want to show you some use cases. And finally, the next step that we are in the company. For those who don't know Ferrovial Construction, Ferrovial was born in 1952. Its main focus was the railway project. Later it expanded in other kind of business. Currently, Ferrovial has 4 main business lines: highways, airport, construction, and energy. Here you can see some numbers about Ferrovial, but I want to focus in 2 of them. One is that Ferrovial as a group of company has near to 25,000 employees around the world, and only Ferrovial Construction has more than 19,000 employees around the world. So where we are in a lot of countries. We work in North America, Canada, South America, Europe, Australia. As you can imagine, we have to work with different clients in different countries and different types and size of projects, so it's not easy. And what happened with BIM? I don't want to explain you what is BIM because you are a specialist in BIM, but I only want to focus that for us, BIM not is building information modeling. BIM is more than that. For us, BIM is better information management. The most important thing for us in our project, not only in BIM, is in all of the projects, when we manage a project, is the information, and it is the reason why we have created a global software map. We standardize the use of some tools. We select the main tools for project management, safety, finance, payroll, document controller, design, construction. But as I say, we work different countries, different projects, and we have to standardize the processes, and sometimes we have to select other tools to do these processes, and it's the reason why we have this complex software map. And what happened with the progress monitoring and data management inside our company? Talking about BIM, I know that maybe you know this workflow and use it, and you use it because when you only have and when you only use what kind of tool, you create the model, you extract the information or import the information from your project team, your production manager, your site manager, and you update the model, you enrich the model with all of the data, and you can repeat this workflow as many times as you need. But what happens when you need to use more than one software, or you receive model from different software? And this is the problem that we have in different countries. Now in one, we have to use Bentley software, Autodesk, Tecla, and we need to improve this kind of workflow. We have to use openBIM standard, extract this model, and we have to enrich this model with more information, and we need to use another tool like Excel, not to federate the model, enrich the model with all of the data, and extract the data and share with the client or with our own team. Some examples.
So as Isabel just mentioned, we have to improve that initial workflow, introducing tools like Excel and introducing especially ISC. So the sample that you can see on the screen, in this case, we don't have from the images ISC, but what we have is how do we do the audits of the models. As a construction company, we receive models from designers, from clients, for subcontractors. So we need to make sure that not only geometry is correct, but the data that we have inside, because we want those models, that data, to be able to create further things. So that we will talk later, and things that Ricardo mentioned yesterday in the presentation. So in this example, we have the Revit models. We introduce them into Excel. We do the audit of the model. Is the data correct? Are we going to be able to use it? Do we need any more information? We can extract that information into Excel. We can request project manager, construction manager, designers to input more information and bring it back into Revit or other software using Excel. In this example is for the model audit, but how do we share that information with the wider team? What usually happens is that the digital construction team, we have the tools, we have the software, but what happens with the construction team, project managers? We have to give them the tools, easy tools to use, for example, the Excel viewer. So they have everything available on the website to check all those audits that we have carried out ourselves, and they will be able to give us any input. It's not just a document with a screenshot, it's a proper system where we can share all that information that we have done, giving the power to the construction team, not only to the digital team. Another example of what we are doing with the models, how we use them, is the coordination and classification. As we saw in the previous workflow, we have models coming from different software, so we can use Excel, including all those IFC or Revit models, to be able to do that classification. In the screen, you can see a couple of screenshots from Vexel Viewer that we can share with the team, but also we can share those topics, not issues, we discussed it yesterday, for VCF, so designers can use them and check what has been happening on the models. And then a key part for our construction team is quantities. How do you make those quantities take off? Previously, we all know that construction managers, they will count, take a 2D drawing and count, I have these too many pillars. We move on to 3D models. How many do we have? And now we are taking one step further, introducing tools like Vexel Manager to classify all those elements. We have done that previous model audit where we know the data is correct, so we can take it further and to create those quantities. You can see an example of one of our water treatment plants where one of our team is doing that classification, taking all that information so we can share it with the wider team. In this other example is in a building project, how we do those quantities takeoff, and this is how we share it with the team. In this case, with the Vexel Viewer in the format of a kind of a dashboard Power BI, but we have done it in a different kind of format with other projects. We're using a Power BI, VCAD, different platforms. So we have to make all this data available to the wider team. So we hand over to Isabel.
And what are our next steps? We are using a lot of BIM uses in the different projects, and we use the 4D schedule in some of them, but the issue is that we use 4D for punctual projects. In some of them, we have client requirement. We have to create a 4D schedule. In another, we only use for virtual simulation or for logistics. So the way of working in the different projects is not standardized about the 4D schedule. And we are looking for the best workflow for our projects to standardize the processes. And we are testing the different tools that are in the market for achieve it. Achieve the standardization of it, and this is the reason that Veljko say that we are working together for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Isabel and Victoria. So now we have 5-6 minutes more. So please, all your questions are most welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. The three parts are quite interesting. And now, the question is, how do you integrate models or the interaction with the subcontractors? Because it was mentioned that in different presentations I saw that the subcontractors, they create the models or maybe the families of a specific part of the building. That interaction, how does it work in these examples?
Okay, that's an excellent question, and sometimes one of the most challenging things. So first, one simple thing is to each single task, usually with activity codes, you can automatically, based on certain rules or semi-automatically or manually, you need to attach information who is responsible, essentially which subcontractor is responsible, and then that's one thing how all these dashboards work in an interactive way. The second part is, let's say in the US, is very frequently that each subcontractor develop their own very detailed model. And that's one of the key challenges. And that's why intelligence we need to bring. So we do not manually, I just explained to you in our technology, we do not manually attach elements to the task, but define a rule automatically. And when you update the model, if it's the wall at the same level and in the same zone and same or similar type of the wall, it will automatically update the analysis by using new model developed by subcontractor. So this is the best way. And you know, for example, in let's say Civil 3D, it's an excellent tool, but it immediately regenerates all GUIDs. When you change the alignment, new GUIDs are. And if you don't have these intelligent rules, you need to do everything from scratch. So that's why this rule-based connections or being queries, and Bexel has this intelligent way to create all this automatically, not manually. That's the way how to answer to this question. But this is excellent question. One of the most challenging parts of execution of the project. Thank you.
So thank you, Veljko, and then Ferrovia. Thank you very much. Today's use case is from the Ferrovia, and then they are the construction company. But if it is your client is the owner of the project, the situation is totally different, I guess. But how's the contract of the right of the data? It means the copyright of the data. And how do you divide it in the construction phase and then operation management phase?
How you transfer data. Last time in Oslo, I presented this way, and it was also mentioned by Ricardo yesterday and today, how they only use fit for purpose data for that phase. So you don't transfer all information, but just the part needed for the next phase. The second thing we strongly suggest, now you ask contractors, investors, each one should have its own CD. The CDs should communicate, but for example, contractors are not willing to share all the information with the investors. So they should, if possible, always have some separated data which they can manage by themselves. So that's the one thing. The second, I would like to say, in both cases, in terms of optimization, the benefits are the same. So the client has ability to check the quality of the schedule and see if the schedule is realistic or not early in the phase. That's a huge benefit for him. And he, of course, needs to control contractor. But the same is for general contractor, because he has a number of subcontractors. And if he does not control them in the same way, he will again be, maybe it's not polite way, the hostage of them at the end. Because an example, hospital, 90% of each room is finished. You pay them 90% of money to all subcontractors. You expect the hospital will be open in a month. In reality, you need to pay them 10-15% more, or to find the new ones, because they will go away, because they know that they now have a power. And it's a total chaos. You need to coordinate them, and they can claim you, because you need to allow them a proper space and zone where they can efficiently work. So if they have 10 other crews or subcontractors at the same time, same location, directly you will receive claim. I'm not a legal guy, but I'm vice chairman of FEFCA, FIDIC in Europe, and know a bit about those issues, how the claims could be generated because of that. So that's why in both levels, investors and general contractors, optimal planning is something very appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much. It depends on projects.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much.